This week on the Analog Circle podcast, we get some alleged new information about Obsidian's upcoming game, Avowed. There are big rumors going on around what we will see at the PlayStation August event. CD Projekt Red has revealed another very big gaming feature in CyberPunk 2077, and G4 TV is making a comeback. All of these stories and more can be found here in episode 138 of the Analog Circle podcast. I am your host, Kiaun Mitchell, and I truly want to thank you guys for being here and spending a little bit of time with me to talk about this gaming culture that we all love so much. So guys, I want to jump right into it. Without further ado, I want to get into the gaming news that went down. Well, wait a minute. Before we officially get into the gaming news, I do want to let you guys know something. That if you do want to be a part of the feedback section, you can do it two different ways. You can either call in at 443-216-9934 and let your voice be heard, or you can email the show, and the email address is the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. I want to give you guys an update on that too. I ask you guys if you could please have your questions in by Friday. I didn't specify that before, so that's my fault. But if you guys could have your questions in by Friday, because I want to record that show on Saturday, because I usually record the regular podcast on Sunday. That's the only caveat that I ask. But, you know, if you want to be a part of the show, that's how you can do it. Either call in or email. So, guys, let's go ahead and get into the gaming news, because I didn't really play anything this week. I was wrapped up between the Xbox event and work, and I didn't get a chance to get on the sticks. But let's get into the very first story. Now, Halo Infinite, God, dog, Halo Infinite, in my opinion, was supposed to be the star of the Xbox showcase, and in my opinion, it fell flat. And since then, 343, and I mean, I don't think I was the only one. I think plenty of people thought that game looked okay, but nothing about it spoke next generation. Now, since that time, 343 has tried to get out in front of this debacle by saying, and I quote, "The game was captured from a PC that is representative of the experience the players will have on Xbox Series X," end of quote. Now, to me, that might have been Aaron Greenberg. I'm not sure. I know he came out as well and tried to damage control this BS. And I understand that, Aaron, it is your job, brother. I fully 100% get it. There's no way he can come out and say, guys, we understand. It looked horrible. We get it. And we'll try better. We'll try to do better next time. It is no way he can say that. So I don't fault him for getting out there and trying to get in front of this and tell us some kind of excuse. But to me, there is absolutely zero excuse for this to have happened. Here you have, allegedly, this is alleged. Nothing has been confirmed. It's all just hearsay, but a $500 million budget, $500 million. And this is the game that you come up with? You gotta be kidding me. 5 years that this game has been in development, 5 whole long years. And all of a sudden, you want to try to say that, it's just COVID-19. That's the reason why the game is looking bad. It's because of COVID. Get the frick out of here. You gotta be kidding me. It is no way possible that anybody on the earth that is a gamer, of course, could say that that is a reason. That means you had 4 years prior to COVID-19 happening to get this game together. This is your flagship title. This is the game that is supposed to set the precedent for the generation, in my opinion. If you don't take your very own, your biggest IP, the reason why the Xbox brand was able to survive, everybody knows it was because of Chief and the Halo brand. That is the only reason why Xbox was able to survive into what they are today. And you mean to tell me that you do that to your star player, your all-star, the person that has kept things intact? Well, not the person, but you know what I'm saying, the game that has kept you guys relevant and intact, to actually have him come out on that stage like that is absolutely abysmal. That is horrible. It is no excuse that things like that should be happening. And that, once again, leads me to the question, is there a quality control issue over there in the Xbox camp? Is there a issue that people aren't having higher standards for their teams, their development teams? I just remember one thing about Sony that stands out to me when you're talking about quality control is God of War. I remember Cory Barlog, I forgot the gentleman's name, that went there to the studio, and he's actually the head on indie projects. And I don't know how the frick that happened. This guy was freaking amazing, but he got demoted to doggone that department. So anyway, Cory Barlog told the story that he came out there to their studio and he played God of War, the original build, and he was like, no, this is not it. You need to switch this up. You need to change some things. Put this back in the oven and recook this mother lover, because it is highly undercooked. And Cory Barlog, he said that him and his team, they got back together. They started working out some of the bugs, some of the problems. And the next time that gentleman came to their studio, they were on point. That is how we got the amazing, one of the greatest games of this generation, in my opinion. That is how we got God of War on the PlayStation 4. It was because they were not trying to just throw anything out there and say it was okay. Microsoft, you really got to get it together. You need to make sure that you're just not throwing stuff out there. I mean, this is the Chief, Master freaking Chief, and you do him dirty like this. Absolutely unexcusable, and these guys need to be held to the freaking fire. I'm not saying that 343 isn't a talented studio. I just think, once again, it goes in line with quality control. Somebody over there needs to be checking in, making sure that they are doing their job. And I understand that it's hard being a developer. I don't know what it's like. I'm a truck driver, so I have no idea the stresses or things like that, but it's been 5 years, 5 whole years. I don't think that's an excuse. We got God of War in 5 years. And that's one of Sony's staple characters. I'm just asking that Microsoft does the same. Get your IPs in a row and give us quality. That's what we are asking for, quality. That's it. Anyway, let's go ahead and move into the next story. Microsoft, get it the frick together. God darn. But in quick PlayStation news, Ghost of Tsushima has sold 2.4 million copies in 3 days, setting a record for a new PlayStation 4 IP. God dang. Again, PlayStation has absolutely been unbelievable this generation. Look at the two parallels here. Look at this. You got PlayStation ending the generation with a game like Ghost of Tsushima, and you have Microsoft starting the generation with a game that looks like Halo Infinite on brand new hardware. That sums it up right there. the difference between the two companies. One is giving you that AAA experience, and the other is just trying to do just enough to get by. Am I wrong for saying that? No. It's my opinion. Other people might think differently. Other people might say, no, I don't believe that. But look at the stark difference. PlayStation has been absolutely unbelievable this generation, and the last brand new AAA IP that we get from Microsoft was back in 2016, which was Quantum Frickin' Break. Come on, man. Here it is all these years from 2016 to 2020. 4 years of a drought. And this, man, anyway, let's go ahead. Congratulations to PlayStation. You guys deserve it. 2.4 million copies in 3 days. Absolutely incredible. I think these guys set another record for selling, like, I don't know, something like 3 billion pieces of software. I mean, just some crazy number of software that they were able to sell this generation. It is greatly, it's deserved, man. So anyway, shout out to you, PlayStation. Keep doing your thing and keep rolling. Let's go ahead and get into the next story, because a blast from the past is coming back. Now, after several years of being dormant, G4 TV is set to relaunch in 2021 by Comcast. Now, the Twitter accounts of G4 TV, X-Play, and Attack of the Show tweeted out, and I quote, "We never stop playing 2021. End of quote. Now, a source did confirm that the relaunch would be coming from Comcast Spectre, which is the company's, get this is interesting, that is the company's sports and esports division. Now, it's being speculated that this is happening to compete against a streaming network that's dedicated to gaming and pop culture, and the name of that streaming service is VEN, which stands for Video Game Entertainment and News Network. Now, I gotta say, G4 TV, man, what a heck of a, let me tell you, I remember I guess G4 TV came out when I was around maybe like 21, 22 years old. I was still pretty young, still very young at that time. And I remember just being in awe and in amazement that it was a network dedicated to gaming 24/7. It's because of G4 TV that I actually ever got a chance to see E3 way before Spike TV was doing it, and absolutely years and years and years before the event went online. There was G4 TV, and Adam Sessler, that guy is a legend. In my mind, that guy's a gaming legend, because he was the person that was putting those things in line. Of course, I know he had the backing of the network and all, but he was one of the key players to actually bring E3 to the G4 TV network. And man, it was so amazing to see. X-Play was one of my favorite shows. I absolutely loved it. And just to see this making a resurgence in 2021, I mean, are they going to get Adam Sessler back in there? Are they going to get some of the other original cast members back on some of these shows? I'm so interested to see what kind of direction they're going to go in. Like I said, this is being brought back by Comcast, the people that actually are behind where is it again? The sports and esports division. So could this mean that it's gonna concentrate more on the competitive side of gaming, or, you know, having like the Madden tournaments, having the 2K tournaments, or is that going to be sprinkled in there along with the regular gaming news on a daily basis? It's just so interesting to see. It is so cool. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm very excited to see just how they're going to implement this G4 TV in 2021. Let's go ahead and move on into the next story. Now, for this alleged upcoming PlayStation show, this upcoming August PlayStation show, there are even more crazy rumors that are spiraling out of control, and they are coming from, quote, Moore's Law is dead, end of quote, who claims that during this state of play, Sony will be bringing a franchise back from the dead that Mark Cerny is involved with, and that God of War 2, this is crazy as heck if this is true, but God of War 2 will be revealed and will release in late 2021. Now wait a minute, now hold on. Now that release date, that 2021 release date, that was actually debunked. The rumor itself wasn't debunked, but that release date for God of War 2, I believe one of the developers, they came out and they said, nah, don't quite expect it in 2021. That's not it. So, I mean, and that makes sense. I mean, we're talking, it came out in 2018, so that'd be roughly like 3 years, by that time that this so-called alleged 2021 release date would have made it, 3 years since it came out? Nah, I think it's gonna cook a little bit more in the oven. I'm sure, I don't even think Cory Barlog is actually gonna be on this next God of War, which is gonna be very interesting. But some people have been saying that this event, this is where we're gonna see Jak and Daxter, and I would absolutely enjoy the heck out of seeing another Jak and Daxter game. And then the other game that came up, and I talked about these before, but the Kane Soul Reaver, Kane's Revenge, or whatever it's gonna be called, people are saying that could be there. But just the fact that PlayStation has one franchise that they are bringing back from the deathbed, bringing it back, and hopefully it'll be one that everybody is excited about. That gets me even more excited about this upcoming August event, which, once again, now this is new too, that they're claiming that this event is going to be another state of play and not an actual real, not live event, but another event like they did back in June. So if this is a state of play, we're talking about, it could be give or take 15, 20 minutes long. And I always enjoy that about the state of plays. They get in and they get the heck out. I respect that. But if they can show off a franchise that everybody has been missing, and it looks fantastic, it has that look to it, man, this could be big. And then top that off with, allegedly, it's not confirmed, it's all rumors once again, but if they could top that off with showing something on God of War 2, God dog, that would do it for me. That would absolutely do it for me. Let's go ahead and let's get into the next story. Now, CyberPunk 2077 is by far one of my most anticipated games of 2020. I'm all tongue-tied, pardon me, but of 2020. Now, we continue to want to find out, or at least I do. I want to continue to find out about as much of the game as possible. And awesome enough, CD Projekt Red has revealed another interesting feature about the game. Now, here is their quote. They say, subplots allow us to do something that we have never done before. They changed the main plot of the game, and they are doing that in such a way that you may not even finish the main plot, but still finish the game and get a completely different epilogue than the player with a different path, than a different life path, who made different choices, met different characters, and formed relationships with them. End of quote. This speaks to the magnitude, the volume, how huge this game is, that you don't even have to finish the main story to finish the game. You can actually finish the game by doing doggone side quests. And then at the end of it, depending on how you played, your outcome will be different from someone else who went through the actual whole campaign, met different people, formed different relationships with them, and it leads them on a totally different path than what you might have chose. I have never known a game ever since I've been gaming since I was 6 years old. And of course, this level of detail with side quests has just come along this generation, and I have to say, CD Projekt Red, they brought it to that next level, in my opinion, making the side quests not feel like side quests, but actually like real side stories, like a solid story is in there, and it's worth going on the side quests just to get more lore of, these different characters and what's going on in the world. So by them actually, flushing this out and making this so amazing, this generation, having them say that subplots allow them to do something that they've never done before, that is just incredible. By changing the main plot of the game. Incredible. CyberPunk 2077, like I said, one of the things that really made me laugh, I genuinely laughed at it, was when Obsidian was showing off Grounded and they said, "Are you waiting? You've been waiting for the game of the year. Well, wait for Cyberpunk 2077. It was just a cool little joke. I didn't say it exactly how they said it, but I was like, man, that was pretty funny to me. But this game is going to be huge. It's going to be amazing. I look forward to just seeing the different outcomes, the different paths, because for so many years in gaming, we've been told that your choices matter. The characters that you save or the characters that die, they matter. And, it seems like finally CD Projekt Red is really putting that into play. I can say for the first game that I felt that really did that well was Heavy Rain. When your character died, I got so many different, really different endings off of that game. It was incredible. I hardly ever go back to any games to replay them. I hardly ever do. And Heavy Rain was one of the few games that I went back to just to see the different outcomes, and they were totally different. So with CD Projekt Red actually having a game as massive as Cyberpunk 2077, saying that you can beat the game just off of subplots alone, that is absolutely incredible. We can't get here fast enough, brothers. Now let's go ahead and let's get into the next story. So let's go ahead and walk down a good old rumor boulevard, because we're getting some more news about Obsidian's new RPG, Avowed. Now this new info about the game was found in a post by Reset Era's Sponger, who claims that Avowed will be a, quote, fully open world, end of quote, game that will be, quote, much larger than the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim and will feature real-time weather with fog as an important element and rivers with specific microphysics systems, as well as a, quote, very advanced character creation tool. Now, he said that the game will also allegedly, then this is alleged, I want to really put that out there, but he's saying that the game will also feature mod support, with mods to be created mostly on PC, but will be playable on Xbox Series X. He went on to say the game will also have, quote, very, very large bosses. Now, the Digital Trends report also says that around 100 people are on the project, which has been in development so far for 2 years and 7 months. Now, according to Sponger, that's according to Sponger. Now, as far as when the game will launch, that is being touted as a 2022 or early 2023 launch window. And once again, it must be said that this game is being developed strictly for the Series X. So this is very interesting news. Now, I will say it again. I said it once, that this game Avowed, it didn't really do anything for me. But there were a lot of people out there that were very, very excited, that are Skyrim fans. Some people say that Obsidian does Bethesda games better than they do. So a lot of people were interested in this game. And I have to say that with the game having all of these features and having these large boss fights and, having the world be like so big and so much bigger than Skyrim and, just having all of these different features, these alleged features. I want to definitely just stress that this is alleged, different features. It is actually pretty incredible, to see, not to see, but to hear that these are things that they are working on. And the thing about it is that if it is true, it being worked on for 2 years and 7 months, and we won't see it until, 2022 or early 2023 at the very earliest, then that does say that they're taking that care and that, I would have to say the initiative to make it, no pun intended with that, but they're taking the initiative to make the game as good as possible, because usually AAAs, they do take 3 to 5 years to get out the door. And if this does come out in 2023, that's a long wait time, but that would say that it's been in development by that time for about roughly 5 years, slightly more. So this definitely is looking like a AAA game. One of the, I'm not gonna, man, you guys know, man, I was real salty about that Xbox show, man. I really, really was. So I'm still trying to get past my feelings, get out of my feelings with that. But I was about to say that this is one of those AAAs that they sprinkling in there on Game Pass. But I want to say this. I just want Xbox to give me the same experiences, and I'm not talking about the exact same experience of a Last of Us 2 or God of War or any Uncharted. None of their games. I just want to get the same quality out of their studios that I get from Sony. That's all I'm saying. And that showcase, once again, they did not show any of that off. If they had showed more of Avowed to me, like I said, I'm not the biggest Skyrim fan, but if they had showed the game off and it looked really good, it really appealed to me, then you guys would be hearing something totally different from me. But that 1/2 of a second of a gameplay clip, that just wasn't enough for me. So, we're going to keep our eyes on this. We're going to see, this game unfold. I'm sure we're going to get more information on it as the months, weeks, and years go by. And hopefully this game will be absolutely amazing. Obsidian, I am rooting for you. I want this to be a great experience, and I want you guys to do very, very well on it. Let's go ahead and let's get into the next story, though. So this next story, I was on the super late freight on this one, but it looks like a new Dragon Age is being worked on, and this info comes from executive producer at BioWare, Mark Dara, who said via a Twitter message, and I quote, "I realize that most of you are here for Dragon Age news, and there hasn't been a lot of that lately. Let me just run down some of the things I can say. We are working on the next Dragon Age. Yes, we are working from home. Working from home is harder, and we are making progress." End of quote. So for any fans of the franchise, at least, at the very bare minimum, we know that it's still being worked on and hasn't fell into the development hell, or hasn't just fell by the wayside, because, I read that they actually showed this back in 2018, but since it's been quiet, and usually when a game is dormant for 2 years and you haven't heard really a peep out of it, usually it's one that has fell by the wayside, or development is going so critically bad that they just it's almost on the shelf and not being worked on. So it is nice to know that the game is being worked on. They're working on it from home, and that the idea of the next Dragon Age has not, hasn't fell once again by the wayside. I don't know. It's good news. But especially if you're a Dragon Age fan. But let's go ahead and get into the next story. Now, for me, one of the best games shown, in my opinion, from the Xbox showcase was the Gunk. That game looked really good, man. I can't even lie. And some info about this game has come out. Has come out. Now, the game, I'm all tongue-tied, man, pardon me, but the game is an Xbox exclusive, and it won't release. Now, this is the thing, man. I was thinking, okay, the Gunk, this might be out sometime during the fall, maybe the winter, but nah, brother, this game is not going to be released until fall of 2021. Now, it's being developed on the Unreal Engine. Now, as far as the plot of the game goes, it's about two space haulers who happen upon an undiscovered planet full of valuable resources that they think, man, I wrote this all messed up. Listen, they went into this planet, right? They discovered a planet. They thought it was a lot of valuable resources on the planet. They think, hey, they hit the jackpot. But what they find are the remains of an ancient civilization. Now, they must save that planet from an all-consuming mass of space gunk. I tell you, that game, I ain't gonna front, man. Matter of fact, before I get into how I really felt about it, I think I talked about that on the post show or whatever of the Xbox showcase. But one of the developers, he came out there, and I didn't even write this quote down because when I was writing this story, I was like, man, I'm still upset. I'm salty about what Microsoft showed me. But this guy said that usually their games, and this isn't the direct quote, but he was basically saying that usually their games are kind of tame. They're pretty average. They don't really try to push their games too much, but he said for this one, they knew they were going to need some power, so they went and looked to the Xbox Series X because that's where they felt most comfortable putting their games so they could flex their graphical muscles over there on the Series X. Now, I understand this guy is actually bringing his game exclusively to the Xbox brand. I ain't gonna say he has to say it. I don't think he does, but it does make sense that if his game is on that platform, that he would big up the platform. I think it's only natural. But when he said that, I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm sitting there with the salt face, like, man, you gotta be kidding me. After what they showed us, come on, man. Ain't no power being flexed. Anyway, I digress. I'm not going to keep on harping on what Microsoft didn't do for me because I am not the only gamer out there. I understand that they have to hit their beats. They gotta go for more than just the hardcore. I definitely understand that. I get it fully. But for me, God dog, that was a rough show. But anyway, I digress. I'm probably going to be talking about Xbox for a couple more shows, man. I gotta talk this pain out, man. I gotta talk to y'all about it. But, let's go ahead and let's get into the next story. We're almost done here too, but in quick news, Ubisoft has confirmed that Far Cry 6 will be in 4K on PlayStation 5. Now, here is the quote. Far Cry 6 will be available in 4K on the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 Pro, and PC. Further details will be available at a later date. End of quote. So this only brought this up because at one point in time, I believe Xbox, when they showed Far Cry 6, they said that Xbox, that version was going to be an Ultra 4K or something like that. And then when you went down to the box art or saw the bottom the mock-up art or whatever it was, it talked about the Xbox Series X being in 4K, but it never said that the PlayStation 5 was going to be in 4K. So a lot of people were up in arms, mainly PlayStation fans. They wanted to know what's going on. Is the PlayStation 5 version, as it were, going to be in 4K because you guys didn't specify it? So Ubisoft, they came out, they cleared up the air, let everybody know that the PlayStation 5, and I mean, good grief, they even did one better, PlayStation 4 Pro, they will be in 4K. So that's great to hear. I truly, man, after seeing, God dang, y'all don't understand, man, the what's the word, man, I'm trying to think of. Y'all just don't understand the sadness, brother, that I felt when this whole time they've been hyping up 12 teraflops of power, velocity, engines, and whatnot. I'm like, God darn, this thing is gonna be an absolute beast. And then you show what you showed. It just really, and it was such a letdown, and it let me know that I truly don't think, even though technically PlayStation fans don't want to admit it, Mark Cerny, he was real slick with it by saying that the PlayStation 5 is going to be 10.2 or 10.3 teraflops overclocked, but at the PlayStation 5's core is 9.2 teraflops, and the Xbox Series X is 12. After just seeing the difference, don't get me wrong, PlayStation showed some bull crap on their showcase. They did. Not all of it was fantastic to me, but they showed enough that appealed to me, and it mainly came, to be honest with y'all, from their first-party studios. Those 3 games that I talked about before, Ratchet, Spider-Man, and Horizon, those were the 3 that really pushed the envelope. Everything else was just bonus factor after that. But after they had showed that off, and then versus what Microsoft is doing, I'm like, man, even though it's that big of a difference, I still believe, and this is crazy, I truly think that, man, PlayStation is still gonna be better. I think they are. Because when it comes down to it, you gotta show me the exclusives. I wanna know what you guys studios are working on. I wanna know what I can only get on your platform. That's what it comes down to. Third party, everybody gets those. Everybody gets the 2Ks. Everybody gets the Call of Duties. Everybody gets the CyberPunks. But not everybody gets the Uncharted's. Not everybody gets the Halos and all of the other signature franchises. I'm just saying that PlayStation, they have been consistent with their first party titles. Are all of them perfect? Heck no, they're not. Not at all. But to me, most of them, they are freaking phenomenal, and they speak to me as a hardcore gamer. Not even a hardcore gamer. Let's just take that tag off of it. Just as a gamer. And lately, Microsoft, yes, I am a fan of Gears. I'm a fan of Halo. I don't know what the frick was going on with that Halo. That really hit me in the side right there. Hit me in the kidneys. That was a kidney shot when I saw how bad Halo was looking. And Forza, I'm not really a racing fan, as it were. So that one, it looks beautiful, but I'm not really buying it. So those are the only franchises that Microsoft has been really, really pushing. And I need more than that. And I was hoping that in this upcoming generation, having the studios that they have, that the quality of their first party was going to rise to another level. I know it's yet to be seen. Well, no, we've seen enough. We've seen quite a bit. I mean, hopefully Ninja Theory, they'll bring it home for me, but that's my main problem. Anyway, let's just go ahead and get into the final story. Now, this last story of the week, it is official that the Samsung Note 20 Ultra has been optimized for Projekt xCloud streaming. Now, the service already has over 50 games available, including DMC 5, Gears 5, Batman Arkham Knight, etc. So this is another avenue that Microsoft is hitting. And like I said, the strategy, I want to let this be known. Excuse me, I'm up here belching, man. I just had a Twizzler before I start recording. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. Twizzler and an Arizona goddamn on tea, brother. But the strategy, I want you guys to know, the Game Pass situation with Microsoft, that is absolutely unbelievable value. I would never, ever say the Game Pass isn't worth every nickel and dime. What they showed off that they are giving you, well, they ain't giving it to you. I mean, you got to pay $15 a month for it, but what they're including in that service, I don't think anybody could ever say, good grief, that's not just amazing value. Now, with that being said, Microsoft, they have another attack that they're working on, and that's xCloud, and it's coming in the form of a Samsung Note 20 Ultra. This is going to be an app that is going to be on their phone. We heard about this partnership between them and Samsung for quite some time now. The app is going to be on their newer TVs, and now it's going to be on their mobile devices. So again, kind of like Cody Clark had brought up a couple of weeks ago, where he was saying he doesn't know if he's going to have a good time playing Halo on his phone. I fully get that 100%. But the thing that Microsoft is trying to do, I really believe they're trying to corner the market, because here it is. You get this Note 20 Ultra, and you are already put into the Xbox ecosystem without having to pay $500, hope not, but possibly $600 for their next console. Even if you want to go on the low end, $200 to $300, even though they're discontinuing them. But anyway, y'all know what I'm saying. You can get into their ecosystem by simply just owning the phone. And I think that Microsoft is looking at that strategy, saying that, you know, you can play anywhere you want, however you want. I mean, Phil Spencer's been out there touting this for quite some time, especially revved it up over the last 2 weeks about how important that is to give the consumer choice and all of that stuff. So I just truly think that their strategy is at the very least, a very interesting one, and I'll be interested to see how Sony combats this. Will they try to make a xCloud-esque service, as it were? Will they start putting their first-party games into their service day one? You know, for people that say that, I just want to say that because that's the end of the gaming news. That's it right there. Ain't no more. But what I want to say is, for people that say that Sony, they need to do that, they need to put their games in their service day one. The way that Sony's games sell, I mean, The Last of Us Part 2 in that month, it sold, god darn, that Joker sold like 4 million copies. Now, once again, to me, with the install base that they have, I truly think it should have done way more than that. But I don't know if Microsoft games are selling that well. I mean, 2.2 million units of Ghost of Tsushima was just moved. It just moved over 2 million units since it's released plus. So I don't know if they necessarily have to do it. Once again, I truly think that it'll come down to if people start siding with Microsoft. I mean, that'd be freaking crazy after the games that they showed, that people will be like, well, forget it, man, $15 a month. I'm going with the Series X because it's just giving me more value for my money. And I think that would have to ultimately happen before Sony actually just willingly puts their AAA games into the service day one, because they can circle back around, put the games in the service and make more money off of it that way. They can make the upfront money when they first release and wait a couple of months, maybe a year. I don't know if they should wait a year, maybe 6 months, and then put it into the service, and then they make more money that way too on the back end. So I don't know. Anyway, I just rambled on for no reason, really. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the final section of the podcast. Let's go ahead and get into the question of the week. Now, my question to you guys is, can Xbox compete with PlayStation? I mean, this whole episode, I've been pretty hard on Microsoft. I've been hard on Xbox, and I don't take that back. I don't. I want the brand that I really, really prefer the most between the two to give me a better experience. Now, am I the only gamer that they have to look out for? Like I said, no. They have to look out for other people outside of the taste that I have, but I don't think it's a hard thing, of me asking them to give me something that I like too, and it seems like this whole generation, time and time and time again, PlayStation, for me, has answered my call of the games that I like. I can get them on their platform. And Xbox, outside of the third-party games, they have been lacking this generation. And especially after looking at that showcase, I got a lot of questions, brothers and sisters. I got a lot of questions about Microsoft. So that is my question to you guys. Can Xbox compete with PlayStation? I got to tell y'all, if I'm answering this right now, after what we just saw earlier this week, I'm going to say absolutely not. No freaking way. And I want to put this into context too. I want to put it into context. Like I said, third parties, all consoles are going to get that. Most services are going to get it. Google Stadia, they're going to get it. I'm not basing this strictly off a third party. I'm talking about first party studios. Can they compete with PlayStation? That is a tall order for anybody. I know it is. I mean, they have Naughty Dog, which are amazing. They have Sony Santa Monica, which is another amazing studio. I mean, they got studios. I mean, don't get me wrong. Microsoft has the coalition. I believe in their talent. I think they need to do something else outside of Gears, but I believe in their talent. 343, that Halo showing was tough. It was a rough build. I mean, they talking about 6 months. I ain't buy that bull crap. Get that mess out of here, man. You knew it was game time. You should have came with your best product, put your war face on, and showed us a game that didn't have poppin' coming into the doggone demo. Nah, I ain't excusing that BS. COVID-19, I get it, it's a real thing, but no, you knew this show was coming, Microsoft. You knew what was happening. Come on, man. I'm just saying, having these different studios line up, studio for studio, I just don't think that Xbox can compete, brother. I don't think so. Obsidian, yeah, I hear that they're a good developer. Okay. Ninja Theory, I know they are a great developer. I know they are. But are Microsoft gonna rip them? Are they gonna let them create that AAA experience that I know they can? Or is Microsoft going to tell them to concentrate on AA? That's the biggest question. Bleeding Edge. Oh man, Bleeding Edge, brother. Oh wow. Quality control, man. That's all I'm saying. Goodness. Anyway, I would love to get you guys' opinions on this. You can do this two different ways. If you want to be a part of the show, you can either call in at 443-216-9934 and let your voice be heard. Or you can email the show, and the email address is theanalogcirclepodcast@gmail.com. I was your host, Kiaun Mitchell, and I gotta tell y'all something real quick. This is totally off of gaming, but I want to let y'all know, check your credit reports. I'ma tell you, the credit system is so set up to have you lose. Listen to this real quick. I paid off a $18,000 bill, right? $18,000. The credit bureau, they said, oh, nice job. We love it. They gave me 9 points for paying off an $18,000 bill. Then on one of my other credit cards, I put a balance of $272 on that card, and they docked me 9 points. They give me 9 points for paying off an $18,000 bill, but then they dock me 9 points for putting a $272 balance on a goddamn credit card. How the frick does that math even level out? I just say that to strictly say, keep an eye on your credit. Make sure that you are keeping all of your ducks in a row, because the system is set up for you to fail at any and every cost. Anyway, we're going to get on out of here. Well, I'm going to get on out of here, but I want to let you guys know that we will be back at it again next week. But before we get out of here officially, always remember that it is not about the consoles. It is about the game. So with that being said, you guys take care. Be safe out there. Bye-bye.